Good morning. Hi, Dora, and hi, Linda. Tuesday morning. Here we are, ready to do yoga. Today, I'm feeling pretty sleepy, so hang in there with me. Every day is different, so some days you're gonna feel more ready to go, and other days you're gonna need to kind of drag yourself along for a little bit until you get going. It reminds me of my first car I ever bought was a Volkswagen Bug from 1962, and it had issues. so many, so many issues. Um, but one of them was it would just randomly, like, just it wouldn't stay. It wouldn't run. It would just stop periodically. Like if you came to a stop at a stop sign or stoplight or something. Usually stoplight because you were there for longer. So it also, and so we had, two issues here, right? So the first one was that the car would not idle properly, so it wouldn't stay running. The second was the battery intermittently charged itself. Hi, Sue. Um, and so, yeah, so that's a bad combination, right? So you can't really get it restarted. So I would have to, push start it. Like, so I was always really careful about, where I stopped and what I was doing, to thinking about how was I going to do this if I had to. And I mean, you guys all remember this, right? I don't think there's probably nobody here that doesn't remember push starting a car, right? That was a whole thing. Much trickier when you were on your own than when you had somebody with you to help. But I made that work either way. So yes, I feel sometimes like that. Like I just get me rolling. And once I get rolling, then I'll be on my way. So that was my very first car. My second car was also a Volkswagen, but it was a Golf. And that car I bought from new, first new car I ever bought. And it was a good car. I had it for, I don't know. I'm a person that buys a car and then keeps it forever. Like, I think I kept that car at least 12 years, maybe more. And I think I got rid of it because I couldn't reach in the back to get the baby out of the car seat. It was a two door, and it was kind of rough to drag the baby out of his car seat. Well, and it was a 12-year-old car and pretty much on its last legs by then. So, but yeah, I like cars and I know a lot about cars. My dad was a mechanic, race car owner, a bunch of different things he did in his life. So I learned all of that, how to do all that stuff. But I'm actually very disinterested in the idea of cars. I want it to go, right? So I've had enough kind of bad cars in my life to know that there's nothing better than a car that just goes. You turn it on. There's no surprise. There's no drama. You aren't like going, hey, am I going to go anywhere today, or am I going to stay here and struggle with this problem? So I'm a happy person when I have a very simple car that will always start and takes me from point A to point B. That's my goal. So maybe one more minute, couple minutes till we get going. Good morning, Dora. I see you there. So yeah, I don't know anything about this chat and how this works. I should probably log in and give that a try. So I can tell people how to do it. I guess you'd have to be registered with YouTube to be able to do that. It makes sense. Um, all right. Well, we'll probably get started. Um, just sitting and breathing to begin. And you can always, close your eyes if that feels more comfortable here. Um, you can also focus your gaze on something. There's a lot of um, different ways to do this sort of like breathing meditation that we do at the beginning. Just a short meditation to get us a little more in our heads and or in our bodies and sort of out of our heads, but in our in this place rather than still being kind of out thinking about all the things we think about during the day. And if you think about it, we kind of, push start our way into the yoga class, right? It's kind of a do a little breathing, a little meditating in the beginning, and then some warm up, and then we get into class, and then we sort of slow down again at the end. And I think that's a lot more. Uh, it's more in rhythm with what works with our bodies than when you jump right into a class, especially in the morning, right? Mornings are a good time. Good morning, Deb. To kind of get rolling that way, not jumping right into a class and stretching and doing all this stuff right out of the box. So we're still breathing. And maybe becoming a little more aware of where the breath is in the body. So maybe bringing the hands onto the belly. Feeling some movement, hopefully there. If you don't, see if you can relax a little more through the chest, through the abdomen. So that movement is just space, right? Giving the lungs space to expand. And as we're breathing, let's talk a little bit about the second yama, which is Satya, right? Truthfulness. Um, that's not very ambiguous, right? Pretty straightforward. Be truthful. Um, but it's nice because it's the next one after ahimsa. And we talked about how all of the yamas and the niyamas fit under this umbrella of himsa. So truthfulness only extends as far as non harming. Right? So when someone asks you, do I look fat in this dress? Well, what are you going to say? Maybe they do, but to say so would be harmful. Why would you want to say something so hurtful to someone? Um, that's not being true, that's being harmful. So your truth must be tempered by that concern for others. Um, there's no moral imperative to give your opinion when that opinion, could be damaging to someone else. Um, truthfulness is really in its absolute when it comes to ourselves, right? Um, sometimes we have to be brutally truthful to ourselves about what we're doing and where we're going, right? We can kid ourselves about a lot of things. Um, but when it comes right down to it, right? We all know. We have that voice inside that tells us when we are not on the path, when we are stepping out, when we are doing things that are not true. Um, and we may have very good reasons for that at times. Um, yoga philosophy might disagree. But again, we're doing our best with this. So if you can't always get there, at least know that you're not doing it, right? That's the trick. To not try to kid yourself. Be honest with yourself about what you're doing. Yeah, maybe I am doing this thing that is not good for me. And I know that, right? But I'm going to take steps to try to improve, to try to get better with that. We don't say, "Oh, of course it's good for me. It's fine. Everything will be good." Um, don't kid yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Uh, there's no point, right? Who are you fooling? Yourself? I mean, that's kind of crazy. So, truth. Live your truth. Um, I love that yoga helps us with that. Yoga pushes us to confront that, and it also gives us the environment for that to kind of come up. So I think of our true selves is like a spring inside that will bubble up as we kind of uncover the rocks that we've piled on top of that. So yoga is not putting anything on you; it is freeing you to express that is already within you. Um, we become more ourselves the more we practice that truth. Um, and it can be a little scary. It can feel a little scary, especially if you've not been yourself for years. And many of us have not been. We've been living someone else's truth, doing other things for other people. And so getting to that place can be a little scary. It's an excavation, right? It's literally pushing the rocks off the spring. So take it slow. Don't strain yourself. But know that you can get there. It just takes a little time and a little courage and a little support, right? Um, look within for that support. Um, look to your yoga group. Look to other people that you see that are on a path. Um, sometimes living your truth is very unpopular amongst your friends and family. They don't like it because we change sometimes. We may stop doing everything for everybody else. We may stop allowing other people to tell us what we should be doing. That's okay. That's good, I think. Um, but it can be an adjustment. So take it slow. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with others, and we'll get there. But Satya. It's a big one, right? You can spend your whole life working on it, but it's so important, right? Because there is um, nothing more basic than being true to who you are. And the other thing I try to remind everyone is how easy it is, right? So it's hard, but it's so easy. When you are living your truth, there's no confusion. There's no lies. You don't have to remember your story. What did I tell this person? Well, what did I tell that person? You don't get caught in this because it's just there. Everything's transparent. Um, in that sense, it's the easiest. It's the least complicated way to live your life. Also, the least drama inducing, right? Which I love because I'm not about the drama. You may be about the drama, but find drama somewhere else. That's not, you don't need it in this sense. It will help. It will make your life uh, better to work on that. Okay, so let's get started. Sitting comfortably, shoulders back, take a breath, and then chin down toward the chest. Let's bring it back up. Lift the chin, head drops back. Head to center, take a breath, and then moving head to the right. Back up, head to the left. Back to center. Let's lean forward here. Bring the hands out in front. Back up, hands behind, fingers pointing away from the body. Squeeze the shoulders, gaze up. And then back up to your seat. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind, sit up tall, take a twist. Back to center and switch sides. Center again. Arms out to the side. And then up overhead. Back down. Take a breath in. Exhale, hands together. Interlace the fingers. Back up. Hands down by your side. Roll the shoulders back. And forward. Tabletop. Let's work through cat-cow for a few sets. Inhaling, lift the head, drop the belly, reverse that on the exhale. Moving inhales and exhales. Back to neutral, sitting back, child's pose. Moving back up, tabletop, downward dog. Walking out the legs. Stepping the feet up. We'll be in a fold for a few breaths. Make your way up. Standing tall. Deep breath in and out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, stepping back with the right foot. Drop your knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, moving back. Tabletop to downward dog or straight to downward dog. Inhale, moving forward to high plank. And lower down. Inhale, lift up, head and chest. And lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Then we're moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Take one more breath. Then right foot steps up. Left knee down the mat, arms overhead. And then hands down to the mat. Back foot steps up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale. Lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop the knee. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, stepping back. Downward dog. Coming forward on an inhale. And lower down. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Last one, lift and lower, or all the way up, upward dog. Moving back to downward dog. Take another breath. And then we're going to step left foot up. walk up your right knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lifting up. Back to mountain. Breath in and out. And then let's step out to the right and turn so we're facing the side of the mat. Whichever side works for you. I don't know how you're facing. So just whichever side of the mat, it doesn't matter, right? Hands at the waist or the hips. Take your deep breath. Relax the shoulders. And then lean forward. So we're letting that upper body kind of guide us down. Let the weight pull you toward the floor. And then hands could come down onto the legs, the floor, whatever you can manage today. And then come on back up. Hands to the waist. Use that strength in the legs. Take a breath. We're going to do another fold, but this time we're going to bring the hands back. Okay? So pulling the shoulders back, elbows back. So we're kind of back here. Maybe you're even closer. I don't know. Trying to get those elbows back as much as you can. Breath in, and then lean forward. Come on up. Release your hands. Let's bring them up over your head. Interlace the fingers. Flip the palms. Maybe gaze up. And then hands down by your side. One more. Another folding forward. This time, maybe we can grab for the toes, if you can. That yogi toe lock on the big toe. Inhale, kind of lengthen, and then on the exhale, we're pulling down. Right, and if that's not working for you, then any other version of a fold is fine. And hands back to the waist. Use that leg strength to lift you up. Take a breath. And then we're going to turn. So we're facing the front of the mat again. Right leg is out, left leg behind. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Pull the shoulders back. Take a breath. And then we're leaning forward. Folding over that right leg, kind of aiming the right shoulder for the right knee. Press down on the right foot, rising up. Take a breath in, breath out. Release the hands. And then we're just going to switch. So now left leg is out. Release fingers. Breath in and fold. Come on up. Back foot meets the front, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Let's work on balance. So, standing from mountain, we're going to lift up the right knee. So you might be right here. You might see about reaching down to grab the foot. So again, that yogi toe lock. First two fingers to the inside of the big toe. Thumb wraps around. And if you've got the toe, we're kind of pulling that foot in. So we're up nice and upright. We don't want to be here, kind of hunched over. Right? So if you aren't able to do that, maybe grab the knee. Right? Or whatever you can. But we want to be nice and upright in this. Just kind of working towards some things here, but working on it incrementally. So if this is where you are, that's fine too, right? Because the first thing we're working on is balance. Everything else is extra. If you don't have the balance, it doesn't matter about the other stuff. And then set the foot down, switching sides. So standing on the right, we've got the left foot lifted. Maybe we're here. Maybe we are reaching for the toe, drawing it in, nice and upright with the body. Right? If that doesn't work, maybe holding in the knee. But again, whatever you can do to stay nice and upright and have that knee lifted. And if you set the foot down, just try again. There's no rush. There's no reason not to take some time. Everybody has different, balance, different abilities with balance and flexibility. So if you want to move slower with it, do it. It's not a race. And then come on back down, bicycle legs. And then we're going to step out in a warrior three. Hands to center. Take that breath. And then we're going to step out with the left. And leaning forward. So as we lean, we are lifting that back leg. Hands to center, or maybe airplane arms, if that's where you're at today. Breathe. Try to keep that gaze kind of ahead. If we're looking straight down, we tend to get kind of tunnel vision, and that's where we're staying. If we can look out a little bit, it kind of helps us stay more up in the pose. So looking ahead, we're always looking ahead instead of getting focused on this space right in front of our feet. And then if you're done with that, set it down. We'll work on the other side. Hands together, take your breath. And then we're stepping out right and lifting as we lean forward. See, I have a couch here I can set my foot down on if I need to. Don't be afraid to use some little props. If you have a wall, help yourself to kind of get steady on the wall, that's fine. It's not cheating, right? It's just using what you need to use today. Maybe someday you'll be away from the wall and that's fine. But if you need to be at the wall to even let you start the pose, why not do it, right? You can always lift your hand off once you're up there. There's no hard and fast rules about this. It's only what's going to work for you today and what you need. If you feel like, and set your foot down. You don't have to keep doing this the whole time. But if you feel like you can't do any of these poses, it's going to be very frustrating to you. You're going to be feeling like discouraged, and we don't want that. So if having your hand on the wall, if that helps you, that encourages you, then do it, right? You can always lift it up, right? So maybe you get here and then you lift the hand. I mean, who cares? Well, I mean, I care. I care that you want to do the pose, that you're trying to do the pose. But what that pose looks like for you, that's up to you. All it is, it's what I tell people. Balance is just standing on one leg. You could be doing this. Do that all day long. That's all you're doing. Everything else is just, fancy to keep us interested, to stretch us, to add a little extra on top. But again, if you don't have the balance, if you can't get the balance, you need to work on that before you work on the other stuff. So that's that. Okay, come on back to the mat. Arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers. Flip the palms. Lean back a little. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we're stepping back to downward dog. And then coming forward to high plank. And lower down. Head turns to the right, arms by your side. And then head back to center. We're going to set up for Cobra. So we've got hands about chest height, elbows close to the body, tops of the feet resting on the mat or off the mat. Depends how tall you are. And then we're just lifting up head and chest and hovering the hands. And lower down. Head turns left. Arms by your side. And then let's bring the hands out in front. So we got one forearm on top of the other. Set the head down. And then we're going to lift up the head and chest and arms together. So the head is sort of stuck onto the arms. Everything lifts as one unit. And then we're also lifting the legs. Lower down. Take a few breaths. And bring your arms by your sides. Palms rest on the mat. On an inhale, we're lifting up head and chest, arms and legs. And lower down. Relax for a few breaths. Come on back up. Tabletop, child's pose. So if you normally have knees together for child's pose, maybe try with them a little further apart. See how this changes the pose for you. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. And then walk the feet up to the hands. And we're down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall here. Take a breath. Fold forward. Think about hinging from the hips. We're just bringing the upper body all the way down. Well, not all the way down. As far as you can go today. Coming back up, let's do our cow face pose. So we've got left knee out in front, and the foot is kind of back here by the right hip. Bring the right leg across. We're kind of stack the knees as much as we can here. Some days it's easier than others. And then holding on to either foot, we're going to sit up tall for a breath and then fold forward. So however this looks for you, don't worry about it. If you can't get the foot across that much, that's fine. Maybe just having the foot here, you'll feel this stretch. So all we're going for is this stretch through that outer part of the thigh. People that are more flexible will have to work harder to get there. If you are pretty tight through the hips, it's not going to take much, and that's fine. We're going to just all be in the same place, doing different things, but in the same place. Come on back up. And let's switch. So now, right leg under, left leg on top. Find this place for yourself. Take a breath and fold. Back up. Both legs out in front. Bring the hands by your side. Take a couple of breaths. Settling everything out. And then arms overhead. Deep breath. Exhale. Fold forward. Come on back up. Let's flex and point the feet for a few times. Just working through the ankles. And if you do have, tight ankles, you don't feel like you have a lot of mobility through the ankles, you can do, I don't know if you can really see what I'm doing here. You can do kind of foot spirals, right? So we are just tracing a circle with the foot. And we'll go one way and then switch and do the other. And if you want to really challenge yourself, like that chewing gum and walking thing, try doing one foot one way and the other foot the other way. I don't know. You can challenge your brain with these things. But yeah, if you, and you'll know it, right? If you've got a lot of stiffness through the foot and the ankles, working on that is great. Just want to work a little bit at a time. Don't go too far. Don't go too hard with that. But if you can make that part of your sort of daily activity, we don't always do it in class, but that doesn't mean you can't do it for yourself whenever you want to. The more you do it, the faster you'll see improvement. But, it's especially as we get older, having really stiff or weak feet really damages your balance. So you want to get them strong. Do some foot exercises. See if you can go without your shoes. If you can't walk around without your shoes, wear something very soft like a slipper or I wear these like Toms. They're called Toms. I mean, everyone makes them, but they're just like a canvas shoe. It has almost no structure whatsoever. It just basically protects your foot from bugs or or rocks or something. I don't know. But you have to provide the structure in those type of shoes, right? Your foot has to be the structure. So you will build up strength over time. Um, but with everything else, right, if you haven't worn shoes like that, if you're used to having a very structured sole, go slow, right? Um, Try wearing the Toms for an hour a day or a couple hours, something like that, so that you can work your way up to it. And it's not a huge, because anytime, right, we make a big change like that, we're changing everything. And if you think about it, your feet are really your structure. And if you all of a sudden pull the foundation out from under house, it's going to fall down. So we don't want that. But we would like a more organic structure rather than the shoe. Because once the shoe is off, what are you going to do? You know, you can't wear shoes every moment of the day. So feet got to be strong. Okay, so soles of the feet to the mat. And we're going to lower down or rock back, just coming to rest on your back, the mat. Take a few breaths. Make sure everything feels pretty comfortable here. And then we're going to bring that right ankle up on top of the left knee. And we're going to draw, either stay here or draw that left thigh in. And breathe. So this is supine pigeon. And if you've been in class before, you may know how to do regular pigeon on the floor. And if that's in your practice, you like to do that better, by all means, switch to that. It's basically the same pose. It's just a little more intense because we're using body weight to press down on the hip area. So and then set the foot down, and we're going to leave this right ankle up on top of the left knee. Goalpost arms or arms out to a T. And then we're going to lower. So the left knee is coming down, right foot moving towards the floor. You might not get all the way down there. That's okay. We're just working on that twist. And then moving back up, switch. So here, we're going to draw the right leg in and breathe. And then set your foot down. Shoulders flat on the mat. And then we're lowering. I have to move foot. We're lowering down. And then back up. Both feet to the mat. Setting up for bridge. So heels are back, close to the body. Knees about hip width apart. Hands by your side. And to begin, we're going to press down, hands and feet. You might stay here, or you might interlace the fingers. Draw the shoulders under And breathe. And then lower down. Soles of the feet together. Knees apart. Breathe. Relax. And then we're going to move into Shavasana from here. So you can extend the legs. Or you could stay with the soles of the feet together. Whatever you want to do. Just getting comfortable. Feeling relaxed. Feel that support of the mat under the body. Notice the sounds in the room, the sensations in your body. Maybe take a little inventory of how everything's feeling, working from your toes up to the crown of the head, and then back down again. So, Satya, again, we want to be careful with that power to wield truth, that we aren't doing it in an unkind way, that we aren't doing it in a way, again, that is improper. So if you think you're going to do it to make yourself look better or look smarter or impress people in some way, you know that's an improper use of Satya, right? Many times people feel like they're justified in being unkind or brutally honest, as they like to say. Right? But the truth is, the only person you need to be brutally honest with is yourself. Everyone else is their own responsibility. Um, and you don't even need to be brutally honest with yourself. You can be kindly honest. But don't fool yourself. Right? The people that I know who are brutally honest to others don't act that way toward themselves in any way, shape, or form. They're already convinced that they're 100% perfect. So we want to be careful that we don't take any of these yamas and go out of control with it. Um, if you ever have a question, look within. What is that small voice telling you? Um, our egos like to drown out that voice. So Set that aside. Um, Listen for guidance if you are unsure of what to do. As in everything, right? We say, look within. Um, the source of all knowledge, of all everything, comes from that spark of the divine that we all have within. Um, we can read in books, we can get a lot of good information from other people, but ultimately it has to be in alignment with what is within. Um, so we got to know what's within. We have to get on that sort of first name basis with our internal um, life, right? So um, it's kind of like um, we all have this sort of beautiful room within. And many of us have neglected that room for a lot of years. So it's got a lot of dust and maybe some dirt, and there might be a spider or two hiding in the corners. But if you go in there and open the windows and take a broom and clear things out a little bit, you will find it is the best place in your house. So, getting back into the rest of what's going on, noticing um, more awareness coming to the body. Fingers and toes, hands and feet, move around a little, stretch, and then come on up to your seat. We'll bring hands together. Deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking some time this morning for yoga, for sharing it with me and with everyone else here. I hope you have a really good Tuesday. Namaste. Thank you. Um, that's your Tuesday class. So I hope you have a beautiful day. It looks like a wonderful weather. Um, maybe I might do something outdoors. I don't know. My yard needs some work, so I might get to that. I don't know. Not really sure what will come today, but um, I will be here tomorrow. And if you have questions or anything, let me know. Um, and if not, I'm going to wait because I know there's a lag. There is a short lag between when I say things and you hear them, which is kind of interesting to me. My husband was listening, or he was doing the class upstairs, um, and I think he could hear me talk. He could hear me talking down here, which is kind of scary. And he could hear, and so he said there's definitely sort of a delay. So I think, you know, between when you type and I see it, there's a delay, and when I'm speaking and then you're typing, there's also a delay. So um, I'm trying to remember that, so I'm not like, okay, bye, and then people are like, well, wait, I was gonna say something. So I'll give you a few minutes if you want to do that. A few moments, not too many minutes. Also, if anybody has anything you want to do in class, let me know. Like if you have a favorite pose that we've forgotten about, or something. I'm trying not to do too much that's different. I have a little wall space here, so I was thinking about doing some wall stuff, but I don't know if everyone has wall space, so that's maybe not the best option. So I do have some limitations with that. Same thing with blocks and straps. I don't know if people have them, so I'm hesitant to do a class that's too dependent on them. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Well, I will see everyone tomorrow. Have a great day.